Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Leah and today I am going to be doing another murder mystery video. Woo! I haven't done one of these videos in so long and it has been out of pure laziness. I am completely sorry, but I have missed doing these and I have had quite a few messages of people telling me what ones they want me to look into and videos that they would like to see on different mysteries, so I thought I'm going to bring them back. Today I'm going to be doing a video which was actually requested by quite a few people following the video that I did on TUPACS. A lot of people have requested this because it does link into TUPAC's death. So today I'm going to be talking about the mysterious death of the Notorious b.i.g, also known as Biggie Smalls. On March 9th in 1997 at the Peterson Auto Museum in Los Angeles, California, Christopher Wallace, also known as Biggie Smalls, also known as the Notorious b.i.g, was attending a Soul Train after party. About 1 AM, Biggie Smalls left the party with Sean Combs, who's also known as P. Diddy, also known as Puff Daddy, who is the CEO of the East Coast record label b.i.g Records. P. Diddy left in a separate car with some of his friends and Biggie Smalls followed in a different car with his driver and two of his friends. Biggie Smalls' car followed P. Diddy's car all the way through Fairfax Avenue and Biggie Smalls' car was stopped at a red light at Wilshire Boulevard. So P. Diddy's car went through and Biggie Smalls' car was stopped at the red light. Whilst there, a black Chevy Impala pulled up on the side in which Biggie was at, so it was on, the car was on the side that Biggie was seated, and shot through the driver's side, shooting 4 bullets. Nobody in the car was injured except for Biggie Smalls, who was shot with all 4 bullets. According to witnesses, the shooter was a black male wearing a blue suit and a bow tie. P. Diddy heard the commotion, got out of his car, ran through the lights to Biggie's car and then followed behind in the ambulance all the way to the hospital. Biggie was announced dead at 1:15 at the hospital. An LAPD lieutenant called Sergio Robleto said it was really strange how uninvolved the LAPD were with the murder. Now I'm going to get into some theories about the death of Biggie Smalls. There is one major theory that most people believe to be true, and it is because pretty much, as I'll go into, all the evidence points to this one person and everything interlocks, everything makes sense, and then all the other theories that are around are pretty much just like, you know, people make up. This theory comes from a former LAPD detective called Russell Poole, who thinks that Suge Knight, the CEO of Death Row Records, was conspiring with corrupt cops in the LAPD to get rid of Biggie Smalls. A lot of people think that this was done in revenge because a year prior, just under a year prior, Tupac was killed, who was a friend of Suge Knight's, and a lot of people think that Biggie Smalls was the person who killed Tupac, which was in my video about Tupac's death, which I will link below because they do, as I've said, intertwine. Russell Poole came up with this theory after he saw a lot of the LAPD corrupt cops were on the payroll for Death Row Records, which is Suge Knight's record label. So a lot of them were being paid by Suge Knight for security and events. So he kind of put 2 and 2 together and thought, well, if they're on the payroll for events like that, and because they aren't the most trustworthy cops in the LAPD, he assumed that maybe they would be doing jobs for Suge Knight on the side, especially how the LAPD were really uninvolved with the murder. They didn't interview pretty much anyone and evidence would just go unanalysed for months and months on end. Officer David Meek was at the Soul Train party and had the exact car, make, model, colour that was described to have been the car that shot Biggie Smalls. And he also went to school with known hitman Amir Mohammed, who looks exactly, I mean exactly how the witnesses described the shooter. The scariest thing about everything I looked into about this death was when Russell Paul, the LAPD detective, went to his superiors to tell them about his theories and what he had put together, they just said, forget it, we're not going that way. So they didn't even say, oh, we'll look into it. They didn't say, oh no, we've looked into that and it's not a thing, or no, that can't be true. They just said, look, we're not going down that route. Basically saying, we know it's possible, it probably did happen, but we're just not going to go down that route because... In 2002, Violetta Wallace, who was Biggie Smalls' mum, filed a wrongful death lawsuit. Eugene Deal, P. Diddy's former bodyguard, described a man who was lurking around the party and was lurking quite close to P. Diddy during the party, and then walked away about 20 minutes before P. Diddy and Biggie Smalls left towards where the shooting took place. He also picked out Amir Mohammed in a lineup of completely random people and said that is who he thinks the shooter is, because he was one of the witnesses at the time, and he said that person is the shooter. The investigation found a lot of faults with the lead investigator, Stephen Katz. He forgot to turn in over 200 pages worth of documents on interviews in regards to Biggie Smalls' murder. He didn't interview Amir Mohammed, and he did not investigate or forensically analyse the black Impala that David Meek owned, which was described as the car that was involved in the shooting. Violetta Wallace, Biggie Smalls' mum, didn't win the case against wrongful death, and she refiled for the same thing in 2007, but the thing was scrapped before she could even go to trial. The case was reopened in 2011, and they found that a Gecko 9mm armour-piercing ammunition was used to kill Biggie Smalls. These bullets are so rare that they can only be found in 2 places in the whole of the United States. And David Meek was found to have these in his house. So that is the theory all about Suge Knight, and how a lot of people think that he worked with the police to get rid of Biggie Smalls or in revenge for Tupac. Another theory, which again, as I've said, doesn't really have a lot of evidence, is that the FBI killed off Tupac and killed off Biggie Smalls to end the East Coast West Coast rivalry that was happening at the time, because they were both really strong leaders in the record companies on both sides of the rivalry. And the final theory, which was a theory in the Tupac death, was that Biggie Smalls is still alive. So that is all the information and all the theories that I have on Biggie Smalls' death. If you have any theories or any information that I didn't cover on this case or on Tupac's case, please leave them in the comments below. I'd love to read more into this case because it was really quite interesting, and it was weird how it was so similar to Tupac's death. Also, comment below any cases that you want to cover. I am currently looking into covering really obscure cases that you don't hear a lot about. I know that Tupac and Biggie Smalls are cases that you've heard loads about and that have circled the internet for years and years and years, and I really wanted to cover them because they are cases that I have found really interesting and love talking about. But as I've said, I would love to go into more unique, obscure cases. If you enjoyed this video, please hit like and subscribe, and my social medias are also linked below. I hope to see you very soon in my next video. Love you all. Bye!